Hello, myself Similar Ramakrishna. Here basically we are discussing about one topic, that is city creation. One person told that Microsoft basically never basically launches product without any testing basically. So how this basically data might be getting tested basically? So he told the one of the group basically told that basically he have basically his employees basically who are basically ready to do anything basically for anything ready to do for company basically, because they say that basically we love company basically. So in this the group basically say that basically we are basically doing testing with the employees basically. It might be possible that they might be having some other groups also basically, because 100% basically we can't say that basically what is the reality basically. So 98% we can say that basically like this basically the testing is done. One other person told that basically Microsoft basically have Microsoft told that basically one from first birth to 3150 birth basically he can give. So at least basically 3150 birth basically he have to check, right basically. So assume that basically he picked some 1000 employees. So daily basically he will be checking one data basically, and he will be basically get fulfilled basically to that basically. But one of the person told that we have 6 crore data here basically, 6 crore blood cells basically. Then he told that yes basically you are correct. You have to check each and everything basically. Lots of people say that basically we are only going to check the Microsoft blood cells basically. That is not going to work basically. They have to check 6 crore blood cells. So for that basically he need a certain level of groups basically who can basically that is basically you can say that 5 crore caste basically which was created. Same way basically Microsoft need to create one certain level of clones basically, that also in crores of number basically. Then only basically he can test to 6 crore blood cells basically. And he have to check his blood cells, that is Microsoft blood cells also basically. So one of the person told that, do you have the sequence of blood cells basically which is supposed to check first? That basically only medical department knows basically, which is the higher blood cells basically which need to test first basically. For example, there is 15 floor building basically. So you are going to if you are walking from stair basically, you are going to go from first floor, second floor, third floor, like this only basically you are going to go, right? You can't basically jump directly to third floor or fourth floor. Even basically you have lift basically, it's going from first floor, second floor only, basically. Normal thing basically. So same way basically in blood cells data also basically sequence basically are there. And like this basically 3150 blood cells basically was checked. And there is no option basically other than checking the thing basically. The reason behind is each and every blood cells data basically of Microsoft basically which he is going to dump to as a birth basically, they will be big personality basically. Big personality means their attributes, their attitudes, their habits are going to be taken by the set of groups basically. For example, Microsoft basically created one person basically, he actually died and he is basically very rich person basically. He dumped his first birth data into particular person basically. He was rich basically, right? So he have basically the money power. So he directly become the richest person basically, you can say, of the city basically, as in basically. So he is going to whatever things going to do basically. For example, he is having green color specs basically. So mostly people basically is going to have green color specs. Why? Because that person basically is having green color specs. Green color specs is going to generate this all blood cells. So that blood cells is also going to generate with that people with, for example, 1 crore people basically had green specs basically. So green cells is going to generate the blood cells according to that person's blood cell. He basically had his hair basically in red basically. So other people are also going to have basically. So like this also blood cells. Hand basically, he in hand basically had a tattoo basically. So tattoo also basically connects to the blood cells basically. It's not like that basically nothing is going to happen to the hand blood cells. It's going to happen basically. So like this each and everything basically connects, and like this basically the Microsoft blood cells are also tested very deeply basically. So it's not like that basically. Yeah, so business development of the Microsoft basically, whatever things basically they invest, at least they have to take that money back also basically. They have to take the money back also basically. They have to take the money back also. So it's not so easy basically, you can say, to have one birth also basically. And here basically 3150 is a birth basically. So it's really not so easy basically for Microsoft basically. That's why basically the set of cities are only created basically. Especially city basically are created, so that basically the test basically can happen properly basically. So it's not so easy basically. It's not so easy basically. And the most danger is Oxford group basically. There they have basically given 35 words. On the basis of the 35 words only basically, this age Microsoft was able to prepare basically, and how basically it has prepared, that basically we have already discussed basically. So like this basically things are basically there. So again back to this basically. Microsoft blood cells, Microsoft sand basically. Sand creation. So target is basically sand creation equal to lava creation basically. So each and every big products basically are converted into lava, and their holes basically are always there basically. My software industry basically might not be having some different, might not be, not basically 98% they might not be having the different hole basically. So for that basically they have to create one hole basically. For that basically they can't stop the entire process and basically tells that basically we want to create one hole, so can you please stop. That is not possible, practically that is not possible. How basically the world was stopped basically. World was actually stopped for a few days basically. But that type of thing basically here you can't basically do basically, because it's lava basically. And lots of people says that basically if lava basically is having basically, we have never checked that type of thing also basically. And if you check basically, then basically it might possible that it might convert to big issue also basically. That is also basically possible basically. So people basically doesn't check that basically, because it's connected with the directly to the satellites basically. So it's not so easy also basically. It's not so easy also basically. So lots of people says that it's not so easy also basically. So 1 kilogram sand lava basically. So see basically, to create 1 kilogram sand basically, how many hard work basically are done basically. So one of the person told that Bollywood, how basically Bollywood might the Microsoft basically, how he might be remembering each and everything basically. One is basically he might be having set of documents. Another thing is basically he might be having set of videos basically. To display in front of public basically he might be using, in India basically he might be having Bollywood groups who will be creating movies, and in Hollywood basically he would be creating Hollywood movies basically. This is the only option. And few basically groups says that basically few people basically creates the serials also basically, who basically are creating the Microsoft products basically. They can't afford the TV big movies basically. So this can say that basically we are basically into serial creation basically. We basically do our each and every verification and each and every documentation through the serials basically, that these all are things basically going to generate from our products basically. So it's so incidents, each and every incidents basically also we have discussed. For example, Tomato is going to generate this all incidents, that Bollywood group basically says that basically, that basically we have seen lots of videos also. So it's not so easy basically to generate the thing. So in next video basically we are going to see a little bit more about these topics.